Good morning, Blaise Rosser.
Cicci, it's another Monday morning. No, yeah, it's
Well,
Monday.
it's not morning, though. We started late today.
It still feels like morning because we were talking about this a little bit earlier this morning.
Ah,
All right, so this last week's market update. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's just dive right into it. You got an intruder back there? I hear a lot.
you hear that? I bet I do. Amazon must be delivering something nice to me.
You were shopping again, huh?
All right.
All right, give me some numbers and tell Melanie that I said shush.
All right, hold on. Stay there, Ray. While I'm talking to the dog, ask people if they want to sell their house.
Hey, ridiculous. We're live. Come back and don't worry about the dog. She'll quit. Wow, that's some dead air time right there, Cheech.
She just doesn't like people picking up their kids from school.
Okay, well, let's talk about the market update. Because anybody that tunes into this, they love to hear just dead air time where it's just me staring.
You were supposed to be vamping this whole time.
Oh, okay. We'll put up a chart or something. Give me something to work with.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right, so what we go over every week, Monday, is Medina County numbers. What's happening in real estate? So in the last 30 days, pulled a report, homes that have closed within the last 30 days, there were 141 homes that closed within those.
In Medina County.
Correct. So jump to the next slide.
All right.
Please. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, sale price versus list price and days on market. This all has to do with those 140 houses that sold in Medina County. We want to talk about the sale price versus the list price because we want to know, what are buyers having to do to get an offer accepted? We want to talk about days on market because we want to know how long are these houses truly sitting on the market before they get sold. So jump to the next slide.
Okay.
Again, 140 homes closed last 30 days. 98.93 average list price versus sale price. What that means is there were houses that sold over 98.63, but there were also some that sold under. Out of those 140 houses, 65 of them were sold at or over asking price. So at 100% or above, 65 of them.
No surprise to me. No surprise.
No surprise, but to the average consumer watching this, a buyer or seller, these are big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we got 60 were between 95 and 99.99.
If you go back to that number of 65 were at or over asking price, actually across the country, the average moved up 1.6% to the average home selling at 99.3% of asking price.
Wow. That's crazy. So if you take these first two lines, 65% were at or over asking price. Another 60 of those 140 were between 95 and 99.9% of asking. We're already 125 houses out of our 140. Only 15 houses sold for under 95% of asking. 2 of those 15 sold for less than 90% asking. But both of those homes, I did some research and dove in and looked at them. One was an all cash. You couldn't use financing. The other was all cash or conventional financing. So it kind of took a big chunk out of the market for those 2 houses. But bottom line is,
not just that. If they have to go cash or cash and conventional only, there's some issues.
Sure, there's a big crack in the basement or something that makes it not be able to be financed. And
paint all over the place, something.
Yeah, that cash buyer is wanting to offset the investment they're going to have to do for the repair. So yeah, that makes sense for it to sell for less. But bottom line, if I'm a buyer and I'm coming into this market and I'm wanting to pay less than asking price, what do you tell them?
If you want to pay less than asking price?
Yeah. What? How do you coach a buyer that's wanting to come in and lowball a house?
If the house is new on the market, they're wasting their time. If somebody wants to go in and look for bargains, then we got to pull up what's been sitting on the market.
Absolutely. So that days on market has an impact. If it's been there for a while, there's a little bit of wiggle room. But if it's that brand new house that one that's an open floor plan, everything has just been remodeled.
You know what? Even if it's not a brand new house, it could be a it could be a bad house. All right. If they've had it on the market for 3 days, that seller's mentality is they're not going to accept a lower price.
Yeah, I agree. I agree there. So up front, that's just not going to happen. When you look at these numbers, you got 140 houses, 60 sold between 95 and 99.9, and the other 65 sold for over asking price. That's over 120 houses that have sold above 95%. Your chances of lowballing and winning are slim to none, unless you have a good strategy.
And why is that? What's the cause of that?
Low interest rates. Jump to the next screen.
What else?
Jump to the next screen. So
Right.
it's going to be on here. I already outlined it in
I'm
this
jumping ahead. Teachers
So
always got mad at me for that.
we got an average of 43 days on the market. Well, guess what? 43 days is not really the accurate. That's how long it took to stop the counter. Really, these houses are going under contract within 2 or 3 days of being listed. A lot of them are even 1 day. What's the MLS rule for when the counter stops? Is it when it goes pending or when it actually closes? Do you know? I'm not really
Counter
sure.
stops when it goes pending, I believe.
Okay, so that's really when the realtor pushes the pending button, which, let's be fair, a lot of them, they don't do it on time. So this 43 days is probably a little bit off. Bottom line, these houses are selling 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and that's it. Out of those 140 homes that sold, only 41 of them were on the market over 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
So time on market is kind of non-existent. 99 of those homes sold in less than 45 days on the market. So 99 out of 140.
Although, if you look at what's left on the market, get this though, this will blow your mind. What's left on the market, the average days on market, you got an idea?
No.
112 days.
Wow. Okay. So that tells me there's probably something wrong or it's overpriced.
Right.
Those are your two big.
Those are the combined days on market. Let's put it that way.
Hey, you know, when I was pulling these numbers, one of the things that I kind of found fascinating as I was diving through them, there were 2 or 3 houses in there that the list price, the original list price versus the list price, it actually went up.
Now you know why that is?
Tell
Are
me.
these ones that were sold?
Yeah. They were all sold. Everything in this list was sold.
When did that list price go up, before or after it went pending?
I don't know. I'd have to dive in and look a little bit more, but I just found it fascinating that we haven't seen that in years where prices are actually going up.
You know what? It's a trick that a lot of, I'm just guessing, I'm just surmising here, but a lot of agents used to do that to trick the appraiser that it sold at or below asking price.
Well, could it?
However, I think the appraiser gets all that same data we do nowadays.
I do too. I'm wondering, because you got to get this a lot of times as a real estate agent, that you want me to list my house at X, and when I get 2 offers the first day, I think we underpriced it. So the seller might be calling that agent and saying, "Hey, we're getting too much activity. I think you underpriced it. Let's raise the price a little." That's truly a possibility in this market.
I guess it's a possibility, but if you have faith in your agent's giving you good advice from the beginning.
I agree. Not something I'd recommend. I just found it fascinating. I haven't seen that in numbers in a long time.
I'm thinking it's some agents that think they're fooling the appraiser.
Could be. Let's jump to the next slide. All right, things that drive this inventory problem: the low interest rates. You got all these people that are trying to get into the market because of the low interest rates, and it's causing an over consumption of buyers. We just have too many buyers out there and not enough inventory. So what happens is we're looking for more inventory, and those move up buyers or those downsize buyers, the people that their house is too big for them, or they're trying to move up because they need a bigger house, they don't want to move. Why? Because they're gridlocked. They're afraid to move. Well, what if I sell my house? What happens?
Well, are there ways around that?
There sure are.
There absolutely are.
The reality is to the average consumer, I don't want to sell my house because I don't have no place to go and there's no inventory. So we have to work around that. First-time home buyers are on the way up. Lower-priced homes are non-existent. So when one hits, like that one you had, 2 weekends ago off of Medina Square,
Mhm.
that was ideal for a first-time home buyer. How many showings did you have?
In 3 days, 21 showings.
Right. So that was phenomenal.
That you or me?
That's me. Let me shut that off. All right. So first-time home buyers are on the way up. Lower-priced homes, they're non-existent. Plus, we're seeing an increase in prices. Because low interest rates are supply demand, as we see all these buyers out there, well, sellers start raising their prices.
Right.
Prices are going up on an annual basis over 10%.
Yeah, we're actually right now from a year ago, we're seeing about a 15% increase.
That's crazy because
We're also seeing a 12% deletion as far as listings.
normally in real estate, a 3% increase or in value is something that we've been talking about for years. But right now it's well over 10%.
Yeah.
How do we fix it? Let's go to the next slide. These are more problems, but one of the ways to fix it would be to build more houses. But what happens because of COVID? The price of lumber, it's way up. The price of roofing shingles, the price of everything to build a home, it has gone up. So to build a $600,000 house or $1 million house, there's some profit built into it for a builder. But to build a $150,000 house and find land to build it on, I don't know where you can.
And this goes back to our discussion we had before, which was not only is it less of a profit margin, it is less of a profit margin. It's also hard to find towns that will allow homes that aren't a certain size, a certain. I was just saw an article where they're putting mini homes on lots in other areas, something like that. Not mini homes necessarily, but a small development. Doesn't have to be huge homes. These first-time buyers would be glad to get a 2 or 3 bedroom home in a decent area.
Yeah. So new construction is one of the ways that it could be fixed, but there's just not the product that's available considering the price of goods and everything to make that achievable, at least not in Medina County. Now, maybe someplace else that's existent, but right here in Medina County, it's really tough to find a piece of land that you can put enough. The building envelope is small enough that you can put a small home and remain profitable. Some of the other stuff that happens in this, buyers have to bid over asking price. But then what happens is we run into an appraised value problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very good strategy. Hey, I'm going to bid up over what they're asking for this home. You can see that it's happening on a lot of them because we had 60 houses that sold over asking, but it has to appraise. If it doesn't appraise, they can't get the loan.
Or they come up with the cash difference.
There's the key. They got to come up with the cash difference.
Well, if you read those acceleration clauses, which I know you do,
Yep.
On those acceleration clauses that are attached to offers, they let you mark on there, I will pay the difference in cash or I won't be paying the difference in cash. In other words, it has to appraise or it doesn't have to appraise.
Right.
And if I have 2 acceleration clauses, that's going to make a difference on which one my people are going to take.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the inventory problem, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. I think we're going to deal with this for a little while. We see interest rates are not going to jump to 6, 7, 8% in a short period. We're dealing with these low interest rates for a little while. So the inventory levels are just going to be a problem. And either until rates go up and the homes become less affordable, or builders are able to create a product that's more affordable and offset some of the demand.
Well, they also say, though, as these vaccines take place and people start getting called back to work, there could be more movement there. We had this past week, purchase loan originations were down 4%. So there's actually a slowing as far as buyers getting out there at the moment. And it could be part of it because they're frustrated. They're not finding what they want. But they say that it should loosen up a little bit as these vaccines get out and more people are getting called back to work and activity gets back to normal.
I think inventory also drives that number. It
does, but if there's less buyers out there, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not from my end of things. I'm not seeing it that there's less buyers out there. There's just frustrated buyers because they are making offers, but they're bidding against other people. And if you don't win, sometimes you just pull back and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I have 3-4 people right now that I could list their house tomorrow if we could find something to buy.
Yeah. Well, I have some clients right now. I'm going to be selling their house, and they've made a decision that we're going to move into an apartment just so when we put an offer in the house, we don't have any kind of contingency.
Yeah. It's kind of the chicken or the egg, you know.
Yeah.
What comes first? Do I sell or do I buy? Because if I sell, I'm stuck. If I buy, is my house going to sell is what they always worry about. But really right now, that's not the big worry. It's more, where am I going to go?
Right. All right. Anything else for us?
No, I think that was good for today. It's probably way too much, but hopefully somebody will watch this thing.
All right. Well, let's sign off. Say goodbye, Blaise Rosser.
Goodbye, Blaise Rosser.
Goodbye, people.